This mutation is called Specter of Death, and it is being played on Part and Parcel. We have two mutators active, we have Void Reanimators, and we have Remove Unseen. So, Void Reanimators will obviously be cloaked, so the second you start killing stuff, Void Reanimators will start spawning, and that will... these things will start making their way towards the units that have died, and they will start resurrecting them. The thing is, when a unit gets killed off by... when a unit gets resurrected by a Void Reanimator, it automatically gets an attack command towards the player's base. So, early aggression is sometimes punished in games where you have Void Reanimators, unless you have an adequate amount of static defense. Now, the other thing to also note is that Void Reanimators only spawn from enemy structures. So, on certain missions, such as this one, you can clear all the enemy structures out, and then the Void Reanimators will stop spawning. So that is one thing you can also do to deal with Void Reanimators in such a scenario. Now, the one thing here as well that is also going to cause a problem is that all enemy units are cloaked. So you will also need detection if you want to be able to survive this very fun mutation, which has Void Reanimators. Now, as we can see, that Swann has already completely macroed up. He's gotten his Vespene harvesters as well onto his refineries, and the laser drill will be out pretty much almost at the 2-minute and maybe 45-second mark, maybe. The other thing to note here, let's have a look at the masteries. We have Concentrated Beam, Combat Drop, Mortality Protocol, Drill Upgrade Time. So yeah, this is a really fast drill upgrade time, but he wants to use this to start dealing damage to some of these enemy structures. Yes, Toxic Nest and Mend, Symbiote, and Toxic Nest and more Evolution Rate. So relatively standard picks over here. I'm not sure if there's a certain... I think there's a certain cutoff value that Abathur is going for over here. But you can see the value that the drill is providing right now by just providing the extra bit of damage output. And Abathur is already starting to attack and pick up these parts over here. And now this drill is going to start attacking this one pylon, which is also okay. And drill is already the first upgrade is already being researched. So the concentrated beam being upgraded research for the drill here. So the drill will be pretty much good to go and deal with attack waves, which is one of the good things about having the concentrated beam. The concentrated beam can be used to deal with attack waves because they tend to line up very nicely for the beam. And this is also where the concentrated beam mastery comes into place. You want to have a little bit of a wide enough beam so that you can actually hit the entire attack wave. But there we go, there's another cannon here. The drill has aggroed, and that cannon will end up getting cleaned up. But now Abathur will have to start pushing if he wants to have a little bit of static defenses here.
Your upgrade's done.
This attack wave is over here. Okay, so there are a bunch of adepts. They do get detected and get killed off by some of Abathur's units on this side. And a few more adepts here as well. And there is also an observer, which gets focused down by the spinning dizzy. But again, very difficult for Abathur to pick up the biomass here, given that everything is cloaked. We now have a combat drop that gets dropped onto this one pylon, and we'll move towards the small enemy camp here, which is again going to be a little bit of a problem because everything else is cloaked. But we have a bunch of overseers as well in position. You can see here the stalker is attacking this combat drop, and yeah, everything is pretty much cloaked except for the structures.
You're engaging the opponent.
It's very problematic for Swann.
Are under attack. Pull your base is under attack again.
What's happened right now is that Swann... Oh wow, so Swann has actually used a concentrated beam to take a shot right through the middle of the map here, and ends up killing out a lot of the units here. And now what Abathur has done is just stacked down a bunch of overseers onto Swann's army, so they have a little bit of detection. They can get a little bit more value out of it. They are picking up the parts very, very quickly right now. And yeah, those are pretty much all the parts in that area done. Unfortunately, if they want to trigger this hybrid, they will have to start clearing out this middle side. And now you can see here the Void Reanimators have started spawning, and now they are resurrecting pretty much everything over here, which is going to be causing a few problems because the drill is not trained onto that Void Reanimator. So pretty much you're going to have an infinite number of units that are spawned on this side. But Void Reanimator now is over there and does get focused down by some of the Abathur's units. Let's clean up over here. And now there appears to be another Void Reanimator that is resurrecting stuff on this side as well, which is going to be causing some problems for Swann. Swann does have a Spinning Dizzy as a detector, so and he does have a Flaming Betty as well to provide a little bit of splash damage. There are two Void Reanimators over here, which is again not very pleasant. Lots of units being resurrected here, and the commanders will have to hurry and clean up those Void Reanimators because we have 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the timer. We have a pulse cannon that gets dropped here. I think a bit of an overreaction, but I think Swann doesn't really want to have to deal with his Void Reanimators, and they have to hurry and start picking up some more parts because the timer is running low. They are now at 60 seconds left on the clock. Now there's a ping up there. Then go ahead and attack because we are running out of time. We have 50 seconds left on the timer. And yeah, the commanders will have to scramble to go ahead and collect the rest of the parts here. Drill gets trained onto the photon cannon, and now Abathur is going to start poking some of these units on this side, and as well as one of that box over here.
Your upgrade's done.
So these boxes do get picked up. Timer is now back up to 1 minute and 5 seconds, and now we have another Void Reanimator that spawned on this side, but now there is a siege tank as well. So the siege tank is going to start attacking the Void Reanimator. Drill gets tagged onto that Reanimator right now, but unfortunately the Reanimator moves out of range because of that drill, and out of detection range, which is kind of causing a few problems for him. The Void Reanimator now is sitting on the low ground, resing the units on the high ground, and pretty much nothing else there to be done. But again, Abathur is busy trying to get ahead of the timer here and pick up some of these parts. This Void Reanimator is still over here, still alive, still expecting a whole bunch of stuff here. So it's going to be kind of annoying. The siege tank is out as well, and it might end up sieging up now in this position as well. And yeah, there's another combat drop that gets dropped on this side, and again, static defense is being put onto the ramps here just to make sure that when Void Reanimators do spawn, that they do not end up overwhelming your expansion, because you need to be able to lock down your expansion. So finally that Void Reanimator does get cleaned up, and now there's an attack wave that's making its way towards the player's expansion. But Abathur is going to be pushing on this side to try and clear this enemy camp, and they just help to balance out a little bit. You can see there are a bunch of colossi here. Everything's pretty much invisible, so Swann, all Swann can do is just take up these structures. Now the Overseers are now in position, so the combat drop can start clearing out some of these Adepts and these Colossi as well, which will be done. Laser Drill gets trained on the Colossus. Colossus over here. And now we have a Void Reanimator, I'm assuming, that has resurrected a bunch of these units. And Abathur's base is in peril right now, because there is basically nothing there to help Abathur protect his base. So Abathur does end up losing that base here. Now we have a bunch of static defenses here that will be trying to hold off against the onslaught that is Amon's army. We have a siege tank at the back. Siege tank shells out that Archon, ends up wiping out that Archon. We have a Spinning Dizzy as well, we're doing a little bit of damage to these Phoenixes here. But again, this is a little bit problematic because they will need to put static defenses into the site to make sure that they do not end up getting overwhelmed by the Void Reanimators. Again, there's a Void Reanimator on this side. Again, no focus down onto that Reanimator, which means it's just going to keep resurrecting pretty much every unit that is there. Very little bit of HP left on the Reanimator as well, but again, there's no focus down. And as long as it keeps resing those Adepts, the commander's static defense here takes a little bit of a longer time to clear out the unit that resurrects, so it keeps those units alive. You see here Reanimator already starting to rest some of the stuff, but there's very nice focus down on the drill, clears out the Reanimator, and now the hybrid is on this side. So Abathur will be engaging this hybrid. There are tons of queens on the back line, so that should keep these units pretty much alive here. Here as well, but I think the area is pretty much taken care of. So now, Abathur is going to be dealing with this army. Hybrids are around 50% HP so far, so Abathur is having no real problem. Does end up dodging some of its scary attacks, but it'll be only a matter of time before some more Reanimators start spawning and moving towards the player's expansion, and moving towards this base over here. So we can see here Swann is already starting to put down some more static defenses to make sure everything's set. 30 more siege tanks at the top just to be able to hold and defend that location. And does Abathur have any ultimate evolutions yet? No, he does not.
They're attacking your base, you know.
We see another Reanimator here. Drill gets focused down onto that Reanimator, kills off the Reanimator very quickly. That one was taken care of very quickly. And now there is 60 seconds left on the timer, and Abathur will have to scramble to make sure that everything gets set up. So what Swann is doing over here is he's going to be locking this expansion down, making sure that there are no more pesky reanimators that start resurrecting a bunch of units on the map and sending them towards the commander's bases. So that is what's going on over here. So again, there are a few more units here that are being resurrected, but I think for the most part everything is okay. There is another combat drop that has come down to help Abathur with the push, and they will be clearing out the bottom side here. And now there's an attack wave that is over here, but again, there is a concentrated beam. I think the concentrated beam might have missed its mark because the attack wave is actually moving towards the side, and there are not enough spinning dizzies to defend against this side. But there are a bunch of SCVs to repair these starts, so that should be okay. But there are more air units that are on the way over here in the form of one Oracle, which does end up getting cleaned up. And there we go. That is that attack wave held, and now Abathur's army is just going to go ahead and pick up some of these parts here, just to try to make sure they are not running too low on the timer, which they kind of are at the moment. And, once everything gets rolling, once this one does have his army, he'll be okay. He's just trying to lock down the expansions to make sure that nothing gets through. Because the Void Reanimators are really annoying. They apply a lot of pressure throughout the course of the game in terms of harass of your economy. So just having a few static defenses on the front line to stop those units from getting into your worker lines, it does help a lot. So Abathur is going to be pushing into the side here. The train is going to be forfeit for the most part, I think. I think Swann has pretty much set up his entire economy now, and he now has his expansion taken as well. None of those Reanimators are going to be getting through the static defenses here. So that is pretty much handled for the most part. Where is Abathur going? So Abathur wants to go into this side. Unfortunately, again, there are no Brutalists for Abathur. There are no ultimate evolutions, and that is really important. The Hybrid Dominator is also there, ready to go. It does get aggroed by the drill, and it does attack one of those queens. It ends up killing off one of the queens there. Now that Hybrid Dominator does end up getting picked off by Abathur's army. Abathur now is going to push into this small camp on this side. You can see over here now there's a random Archon, which means that there is a Void Reanimator that is resurrecting a bunch of units here. Eventually the Void Reanimator will move forward and it will come within range, but it's a while before that happens. Abathur's army is still pushing on this side, and yeah, there are a bunch of Stalkers are constantly being shelled backline here. And a bunch of Zealots as well, so again, this is why having just a bunch of siege tanks ready and in position, it means that this kind of harass doesn't really make too much of a difference for the commanders. Now we have an attack wave that is coming up over here, and I think the concentrated beam might end up getting used if there is enough vision. Because, that is kind of important. That attack wave is over there and is dealing a lot of damage to Abathur's army. With a very nice concentrated beam, just instantly one-shots the entire attack wave there. And now Stalkers and the Zealots again still harassing on this side. Swann has used his combat drop now to just help his ally pick it up, because we are running really low on time, and now he's just going to keep pushing forward here just to try and pick up the rest of these parts that are available, because yeah, the commanders are running a little bit low and they kind of not want to lose the mission after all the effort they are taking to collect all these parts over here. So on this side now, Abathur has his first Brutalist. He's going to start cleaning up the enemy forces, and now again there's no Void Reanimator that is resurrecting a bunch of units that have spawned on the side, so it'll be a while before that Void Reanimator actually moves into position here. Yeah, so there is a Void Reanimator that's probably sitting in the back there. I think the Reanimator is on this side. I think that's the Reanimator there.
Oh no! Where?
But the entire the entire enemy base at the north here has been cleaned up, so that's pretty good.
Hey, your base is under attack,
there's just an Immortal over here. Yeah, there's a Void Reanimator that's constantly resurrecting, but nothing is going to be able to get through the static defense, which is what's keeping the commanders alive here. But again, they are running a little bit short in time, so they'll have to try and push in a little bit to make sure they do not end up getting too low on the clock here. So Abathur wants to go ahead and engage this attack wave, but I don't think it is necessary because Swann does have his pulse cannon ready. So as long as the attack wave kind of clumps up together, it should not be terrible. There we go. I think the attack wave has clumped up now. So one pulse cannon will be able to clean up pretty much any unit that is there in the attack wave. And now Abathur's army is in position here to go ahead and deal with the first hybrid. The attack wave is making its way towards the towards Swann's base here. That siege tank has still not been cleaned up here, but yeah, the pulse cannon does end up wiping that the attack wave. And the Valius is going to let open or let free the second hybrid. So Abathur's army right now is strong enough to be able to handle these hybrids without too many problems. A little bit of harass here. Swann is going for a few Goliaths to just help his ally out as well. Now that he has fortified the locations of the expansion and the main, so now this hybrid is just going to get attacked, attacked, and attacked until it topples over. There's another Void Reanimator. I think there are a few Void Reanimators all around the map here, but again, you can see it doesn't really matter for Swann anymore. Everything that walks up to the ramp just gets completely destroyed. And yeah, there we go. That hybrid has gone down. Now all there is left is just going ahead and dealing with some of this. There are some science vessels as well to provide Swann with a little bit of detection to counter that We Move Unseen Mutator. And yeah, just a few more boxes to be picked up, and I think pretty much all will be set. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the timer now. Commanders are running a little bit close, but I think they've pretty much got this in the bag. These boxes are going to add a lot of precious seconds to the timer as well. And Abathur's also on this side helping his ally push. I think they will have to clear out that side though as well. I don't know how many parts have been collected, but I think they will also have to clear out that side. I don't think there are enough parts in this area to trigger the next hybrid spawn. Find out. I'm not really sure. As Zerg, you can kind of get away with it. Yeah, so you do need to collect those parts here. But when you're playing up against Zerg, you have the defense bots that get added, and those things increase the total number of parts available on the map. So it does. That is one of the benefits of playing against a Zerg composition, is sometimes you can completely skip certain areas over here. And now there are a bunch of Void Rays here that have taken out some of these spinning dizzies, so there's no detection here for any of these commanders, and these Void Reanimators are just consistently rezzing now the rest of these units. Detection has been made now in one spinning dizzy, and now the rest of this area will be cleared out, and that Void Reanimator is still alive, unfortunately. Now it ends up dying. And now we have another hybrid that gets picked off as well. And now there is an attack wave that is coming up on here. Laser Drill unfortunately does not have any abilities ready. And now there's that science vessel is trying to run away. A little damage output on some of Swann's army. Taking off some of this. But these Devourers just completely shred this attack wave. This is why Devourers are so good. They have the splash damage ability. And when you have an enemy unit, when you have a set of enemy units that are clumped, like in an attack wave for Amon's army, they can just completely murder everything that is there. Now pretty much this side is going to get captured, and those are pretty much the last set of parts that can be collected. So the commander is just going to continue to push through and clear out this side. And now all they have to do is push into the final Amon base here.
They're attacking your base, you know.
So there's a Void Reanimator there's a Void Reanimator that's res one of that Colossi over here. Which is, this is why Void Reanimators are so ridiculously annoying. They just continue resing stuff, and then you start getting attacked from like random sides you're not really defending, like on this side for example. See that Void Reanimator over there? That is basically the cause of all the problems here. The Abathur's army is in position. They're focused down this Void Reanimator at some point, and Void Reanimator does end up getting eaten. And yeah, Abathur is ready to go ahead and push into this enemy base here. And for the most part, should be okay. So Swann is starting to push into this side. He does have his science vessels and his Goliaths as well. In the front, we have the combat drop to go ahead and tank for Swann's army. That should be okay here. I think. Does Abathur want to try and all clear the mission? It's a little bit too late to all clear because the mission is essentially done now. And I think there are a few structures as well left on this side. So I don't think it is necessary. But he's going to go ahead and he's going to intercept the attack wave anyway here. Again, you can see the Devourers making so much. They're making lunch meat out of these Void Rays here. And there we go. That is the end of that attack wave. And Swann has pretty much cleared out this side as well. So pretty much all the Void Reanimators I think will be spawning in this enemy base here. So eventually The Reanimators will stop spawning altogether. And there you go, the Valis is also attacking this Templar Archives. And yeah, there we go, Abathur's army is converging on the other side as well. It completely sandwiches this, the rest of the buildings. And there, that is pretty much the last structure, I think, cleared. So no more Void Reanimators, unfortunately. This is at the 28-minute mark, so the players are not going to get too much benefit out of all clearing the mission. But now we have the hybrid to be dealt with. Stasis is some of Abathur's Devourers. But yeah, Swann's army is pretty much in position as well. A few siege tanks as well shelling on the back line. And yeah, there's another rally as well for some mutalists over here. And the concentrated beam as well comes down to try and deal more damage to the hybrid. The hybrid does end up going down at the end. That is GG.